Hey guys, how you doing there? Bad Daddy back. We're back. We're gonna bandage wrap these cheddars. Remember we did cheddar the last time? Well, here's how they came out. They've air dried. It's been about a week since they've been air drying. There's a little bit of mold on some of these, but they're gonna mold up anyway. You see the little tiny bit of mold right there, in that crack. You can dig it out, but they're gonna mold up anyway. There's a little bit of mold on that one. In that crack, but like I say, we're going to get some mold on them anyway. So what we're going to do is we've got some lard melted here, and we're going to actually put our cheesecloth. I've cut some squares of cheesecloth, you can see, just big enough to fit over the top, and I've soaked them in sanitizer. Okay, and so that's what these are. My hands have been washed and sanitized. I'm just going to dip those in that melted lard. It's kind of still hot, so squeeze it off here. Because I want to rub that lard all over this cheese. So just get it right on there. So I'll put a little bit on here and I'll squeeze it out right onto my cheese. Rub it in, get it into all the little cracks. Gonna keep it from drying out anymore. Rub it right in. You can't put too much on because some people use it before they melt it. They'll rub it in. I prefer to do it once it's melted. I think it's a little easy to work with. And then don't forget, we've soaked this in the lard. Just going to stretch it out on top of it. Just press it down onto the cheese. We don't want any airspace in there. And then go right down over the sides. Like that. If it goes up over the edge, that's fine. Just make sure it's pressed down good. Just try to keep it from bunching up. Yeah. Okay, now don't forget, that's how we've rubbed the whole cheese down. Just going to take another square, dip it in our lard. You're going to just pull it between your fingers and get all that, because like I said, it's still pretty hot, so get all that excess lard off of there. And then lay this right over the top. Rub it right down. Make sure there's no air. What will happen is that cheesecloth will, once this lard hardens up a little bit, you see it won't come off. Now I've cut some other pieces that are longer and thinner, and those are actually going to be the rule around these sides. So again, we're just going to dip it, squeegee all the lard off it. Open up. Now you can use butter for this. You can use oils, like, you know, olive oil or something like that. I prefer to use lard. It doesn't go rancid like butter will. There, now you see, stretch that when we roll it. Goes right up over the top here. See how nice that came out? We got another one here, nice long one, and we'll dip it right in there. Get it all covered with lard. Squeegee the extra off. I don't think you can use too much lard when you're doing this. Stretch that out over the edge. Yeah. that's basically your bandage wrapped cheese. You just want to make sure that everything's covered, there's no open, exposed spaces. And I will normally do 2 layers on each. Now this cheesecloth is actually doubled up. You could actually open this up and it'd be 2 pieces. If you're using single layer cheesecloth, and I'll show you what I mean here. This cheesecloth is actually 2 pieces combined together, like all cheesecloth is when you get it. See? So if you actually did this with 1 piece, you'd do this twice. I just fold it in half, so I only have to do it once on each side. So you're using 2 sections of cheesecloth for the top, 2 sections for the bottom, and 2 sections around the edges. So that's what it should look like when you're done. That's about it. Now what it's going to do is going to let your cheese breathe, and it's going to let mold grow all over the outside. It's going to be really good. I got mold. I got shit all over my hands here, but let me show you. That's a bandage wrap. This is actually a Gouda. It's not a cheddar, but you notice the mold all over it. It'll grow all over that cheesecloth. You peel it off, and I found this out the other day. I actually opened the first cheddar I ever made. It was eight months ago. I opened my first cheddar, and there was mold on the rind, and I trimmed it off with a knife, and then I realized that I wasted way too much cheese trimming it off, and I found out what I actually could have done was if you take some salt, dampen it a little bit, you take your cheese, there'll be mold all over the rind, little spots of mold. Take the damp salt, it'll stick together till it clumps, and rub it like that. It'll actually act like sandpaper, and it'll sand all that mold right off, and you won't lose all your cheese. I lost a lot of cheese trying to trim off all the mold when all I had to do was rub it with some salt, and it would have came right off. So that's a trick you can try. But what we're going to do is let's get some on this one. As I said, we want to make sure we coat it good. Don't be stingy with the lard. Because that's what's going to give your bacteria, your molds, a chance, something to eat. And it's also going to stick everything together, keep your cheese from drying out. So it's nice and coated with lard. Put your top cap on, your bottom cap on, and then run your wraps around the sides. And like I say, if you notice this, there is 2 layers here. So when I say I do 2 layers of cheesecloth, I just do them both at the same time. Press it in, make sure it gets into all the little nooks and crannies right around the edge. There's no real wrong way to do this. You really can't screw up bandage wrapping anything. It's just, some may not look as good as others, but the end result is they work. And that's all that matters, you know what I mean? Alright, so let's dip these right in there. That extra lard off. It's a messy process, but now this is the traditional way of aging your cheeses. And what you're going to notice is, it's going to give your cheeses actually a much drier, flakier consistency when they're done. When your cheeses finish aging, if it's cheddar or whatever, it's going to be drier and flakier than if you had waxed it. And the reason is because it allows the cheese to breathe. So you get air in and out of the cheese. I think it ages, it gives the cheese a different flavor, a much better flavor, more complex flavor, and it's because of all the molds that have a chance to grow on it. So if you're doing it, if you've never given it a try, give it a try, because I think it's a worthwhile thing to try doing. Like I say, the lard that I use, I bought right at Walmart, just regular store-bought lard. That was about $7, $6 for 5 pounds, I think it is. So it's not real expensive. When you're doing this, especially on these sides, always try and cut this so that there's enough to hang up over the top. You see how my sides go on there and it overlaps onto the other side? That's what's going to give you an airtight seal once this lard dries off and hardens up. And that's what's going to make this so good for your flavor and everything, is it's going to keep everything's covered. So it's going to make sure that the mold grows all over it evenly and that nothing dries out. Cover this side. Alright. That's beautiful. Alright. So that's what the finished product's going to look like. You see how everything's nice and tight? That's a bandage wrapped cheese. Now these are going to go into the cheese cave. For me it's the wine cooler. They're going to go in there, and I'm probably going to age these 2 wheels of cheddar. I'll probably age them for about a year, because I've already got a wheel in there that I'll have ready. So these will probably be eaten in about 8 months and about a year. So we'll come back when I open these, and we'll do another video and see what they look like when I open them. Alright? But that's the traditional way of wrapping your cheese. Give it a try sometime, see how it makes out for you. Alright? We'll be back next time with who knows what. But we'll be back with something. Alright, have a good day.